Hi, it's Carolyn, the contest queen, and it's time for another monthly sweepstakes Q&A. So if you're joining me, just let me know if you can hear me and see me. I don't have any tech support. It's just me in my office teaching you how to find, organize, enter, and win sweepstakes contests and giveaways. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I got this month. Now, the one that I got over the weekend was something that I've had quite often. And people, when they read the rules, because that's my number one tip, they always read the clause that says no robotic entries. And they're worried that using autofill or autocomplete or RoboForm will disqualify them because are those deemed as robotic entries? And the answer is no, and I'll tell you why. The reason that clause initially came into sweepstakes rules was way at the beginning. So actually, I'll take you even further than back. So originally, sweepstakes were actually contests. And if you've watched The Prize Winner for Defiance, Ohio, you'll be familiar with the term 25 words or less. And those ladies in the movie were entering contests. They had to come up with jingles. It was very creative. Now in the marketing world, they call it UCG, user-generated content. And it's something that the entrant creates. Now it's videos or pictures or recipes or photographs, those types of things. But back in the day, it was usually a jingle. And they were judged. And then it went to sweepstakes. So then there was entry blanks and you had to have qualifiers or qualies and send in box tops or labels from cans, things like that, to prove you had bought the product. And then no purchase entries came in where you could copy the UPC code or make a facsimile of the item to send in with your entry. And then that type of entry just switched online. So basically it was the paper entry blank moved to the digital form. So it was very easy for people who were good with computer programming to create almost bots to go and enter these giveaways. And there was even companies that offered, you paid them and they would enter for you. They would go out and find all these giveaways and submit your name. And that's when the company started adding in the no robotic entry clause. Now, things like autocomplete and autofill are just part of the browser, and they're not considered robotic entries because they're not all coming from the same IP address in the sense of these robotic entries that you'd pay services to use would just enter over and over and over again into various promotions, and it's very quick. Now, although autocomplete and RoboForm can be quick, it's not the same. And companies actually don't mind if you use them because if you manually type in your entry, you could make a typo. And then if you make a typo in your email address or phone number and don't catch it, they have no way of contacting you and you wouldn't win the prize. Even if your name was picked, they'd try to contact you. It would bounce back or the phone wouldn't be answered or it'd be a wrong number. And they'd have no way to reach you and you would lose your prize. Oh my God. And you wouldn't even know. Like they would just go to the next person they picked, because when companies do drawings, they don't just pick one winner. They'll pick a winner and 10 backups. And so then they just go down the list. And you wouldn't even know that you lost out on a prize. So that's one of the reasons companies don't mind you using those programs, because they know there won't be any typos. And considering they are hosting the giveaway because they want your information, like an email address to sign up to a newsletter, they want that information to be correct too. for their, for their own use, and to contact you to be a potential customer. I mean, that's what all sweepstakes are. All marketing activities should always lead to sales, and sweepstakes are one of those marketing activities. And so that's one of the things. Now, I personally prefer RoboForm because what it can do is it can not only fill in the name, address, phone number fields, but it can fill in birth dates, radio buttons, UPC codes, answers to skill testing questions or quizzes, anything. And then what you do is you save the whole form. And then when you come back the next day, assuming it's a daily, when you come back the next day, it will fill in all those fields for you. And it's really wonderful if a company is asking for a UPC code for that, because you don't have to memorize them. And if they have a list, you can enter, 5 different UPC codes a day. There's a notes field that you can put all them in, and you don't even have to go hunting for them. They're attached to that entry form. It's a fantastic program. And it's my 20th anniversary. I'm currently scheduling a date next month to interview RoboForm because I've been using it for 20 years. I remember because I got a new computer in 2003 because my old laptop was dying. And it was funny. I was having so much trouble with it. And I kept telling my husband, hey, I need a new computer. And he's like, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. And then one day he had to come fix something on it. And he goes, this is terrible. Why didn't you tell me? I did. He went out and bought me a new computer. And that's the reason I hadn't used RoboForm. All the sweepers were talking about it, and I never used it because I knew if I put it on that laptop, it would just crash that system. And so when I got that new computer, it was a desktop with a nice monitor and keyboard and everything. And I was so happy, and I put RoboForm on. Oh my God, it changed my life. My sweepstakes world completely changed, and I have no idea how to live without it. And not only just for sweepstakes, it also encrypts all my passwords. So I have probably a good 500 plus passwords on there that, for everything from work to business to sweepstakes to everything. And it's fantastic. And I even used to use it when my daughter was little and she wanted to set up, something, a game site or something. I would have her always log in on my computer once, and I would save her password. And then, of course, invariably, she'd forget it, and I was able to look it up. I love it. I also have the RoboForm everywhere, so I also have it on my phone. So if I'm out and about, I can enter, or if I have to log in somewhere, I can find my password. Like I said, I have no idea how to live without it. Like, I could not sweep. I mean, I could, but it's just not the same. I just love that program. Okay, now let me answer some questions. Anyway, the reason I brought that up is I had that question sent to me, and I'm in the process of redesigning. We're in the process of redesigning my entire website. I mean, it might even have a new logo. It's going to have a new format. There's going to be a new site map. I just sent over all the pages to my webmaster about the new flow of traffic on my site. My virtual assistant, we've been taking out all the old blogs that have no relevance whatsoever. And we're resharing ones that have been lost in the archives for like so long, but the information is still valid. I've been sharing those with people, and one of them was the difference between autofill and RoboForm. So I posted it up today. So if you want to go read that on my blog, and that's how I came to talk about it. Wow. Darlene's had like 14 wins. I have to admit, I have only had a couple because I've been so busy. I don't know if you know this. Oh, I have a new little screen here. But I republished Helene Hatzel's last book. So that was the majority of my month. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's a fiction book. All her other books were, you got to admire this woman. She, in her 70s, decided to take a fiction writing class because she wanted to learn something new. And she turned around and started writing this book. She had this idea. Robinson Crusoe, had a man called Friday. And she thought, wouldn't it be lovely if we could have a man Friday? Like, what if I had a man Friday? And so she took little bits of all of her life and she melded them into a book. So the idea is this radio station is hosting a contest, and you have to write in as to why you want a man called Friday for a month as a promotion for these radio contests. And this guy answers this ad in the paper, and he's going through a midlife crisis. And so he answers the ad and he starts going around the country helping people who need, who get him as Friday for a month. And then she was into all these metaphysical things. Like, she loved astrology and numerology and things. And there's a little bit of everything, all of her quirks and likes, and she liked wordplay, all in the book. She spun it all. It's a bit like, I thought it was funny because I waited until I was editing it to really read it. I had skimmed it, but I really read it, and it felt like a Hallmark movie to me. Like, it was so cute. I thought, wow, what a great first go at writing a novel from someone who had written 3 nonfiction. It's a huge difference writing fiction from nonfiction. So that's what I've been busy on. I have not been entering as much as I would like. So we'll see what shows up soon. I have been getting my entries in. I've been doing all my radio contests, though. That's the nice thing about radio contests, is I can leave the radio on in the background as I work. So that's a tip. If you work in an area or a job that allows you to have the radio on, do it. Because I should tell you before I answer some more questions, my daughter won $500, and I did a little video on this. One of the radio stations is doing a birthday game. And so what they do is at 4 times a day, they spin a wheel. And if it lands on your birthday month, you text in with the word win and your name. If they call you back, you win $500. Then they spin the second wheel. If it lands on your birth date, you win $5,000. So it was May. And so I start screaming through the house, text, text, text. I've been contesting since before she was born, so she knows the drill. So she texts in, and this kid does not answer the phone. She doesn't recognize the number. She doesn't answer the phone. And the phone started buzzing because she doesn't have vibrate. And then she looks at the phone and she's like, I don't know who this is. And then she went, oh, wait a minute. I'm expecting a call. So she answered it, and it was the radio station. So she won $500. Unfortunately, it did not land on her birthday. It wasn't even close. But she won $500. And one of the things that I always teach is, Helene's spec method, select it, project it, expect it, collect it, but you just don't attach it. And she's been thinking for a little while, ever since this contest started. And I could tell her to text in. She's like, oh, I could really use that $500 because she wants to start her own online business selling some of her art. And a lot of the sites have fees, setup fees, when you begin using their services. And she thought, well, where am I going to get the money? Boom. So she's using it to start her business. So I'm very excited for her. And so it's great. Oh, someone keeps winning coupons for Panda Express. Well, I hope you have one in your area, because that would be delicious. As long as they're free coupons, not discounts. I've got a blog post on that one. Coupons are not prizes, but they are if they're free. But the one that irks me is when they say, congratulations, you won $100 off. No, I didn't win anything. You should say, well, thank you for participating in our contest. Although you didn't win, here is a coupon that you can use. Much better way to promote. Because when you tell me I won $100 off, I am not impressed. It makes me want to purchase less from you. If you just came out and said, oh, we're so happy you are interested in our products, I'm sorry you didn't win, but I think it's a much better approach for, I'm hoping for a trip. Yeah, trip. I love the trip prizes. And I realized today I was going through my weeklies, and I have a contest buddy, and we share the contest codes and things back and forth, because sometimes I'm busy, she's busy. So we're texting all day long. And I realized there's one radio station that's been going for a week, and if you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call in, and then they spin the wheel to see which resort you're going to. And I missed a whole week of it. Like, oh no. So it is in my alarms now. That's a tip that I use. If you are entering radio contests and they have cues to call in, cues to text in, cues for code words, like at certain times of the day, because some radio stations will be say, listen to us between, 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And if you hear the jet, call in or whatever it is. Some will have listen to us at 8, 10, 12, 2, and 4. And when you hear the code word, go and either enter it on our computer, on our website, or text in or whatever it is. So I don't miss those. I have a series of alarms set up on my phone, and I call the alarm the name of the station or stations, because sometimes there's multiples at the exact same time, to listen to follow. So I have 5 to the hour, because it's usually on the hour, or sometimes they call it a bit early. So I set it at 5:02, and that gives me a chance to get to the radio or stream it. Sometimes I'm streaming on my phone and listening to it on the radio. And then, have those alarms set, because otherwise, you get, if you're like me, you're working away, you're writing, you're, blogging, you're doing whatever you're doing, and you look up and half hour's gone by, you would have totally missed the time. Or they're talking on the radio and you're not even listening. It's background noise. So the alarms are a lifesaver. So I must have, 10 or 12 alarms set throughout the day on my phone. So I go to the radio station. So let's see, what have we got here? Oh, I won an amazing Super Bowl meal for meetings. Well, that's a great name for a company. Oh, this is a long one. I'm always sharing sweepstakes info, and I show people what I've won. I highly believe people think it's too hard to win or it's not real until I show my prize. A lot of times people say they want my credit card info, and I say I have no clue what you clicked then. Yes. A lot of people will randomly see something out there, and then it'll ask for credit card info, or they'll enter something, and then one of those bot accounts, those spammy accounts, will go and message everybody. Those, if you're entering on Instagram, you've seen them for sure, and they'll have all these stars and whistles and things and say, you won, just click here and put your credit card. And I'm like, that is so fake. There's so many prizes. Companies spend billions, literally billions of dollars running sweepstakes contests and giveaways. And everything from small businesses like me who host their own giveaways to multinational corporations who host huge giveaways with massive prizes. And there's everything in between. So, that's so sweet, because you went for sweepstakes in my country and applied for a few of them. Yeah, I've had some people. This is the only problem. Some countries really don't have giveaways. Like, it's massive in the US. It's massive in India, surprisingly. They call it contesting there. Australia, the UK, huge. Canada. I've seen some in other countries. I remember traveling in Europe almost 20 years ago now. Holy cow. Seeing giveaways on packages. But some countries it is bigger than other, and some countries don't seem to have any at all. So I suggest for those ones looking for worldwide giveaways, and then start looking for promotions. And if you're in business or in marketing, maybe you want to start a sweepstakes agency in your country and start promoting giveaways as a marketing tool for some of the businesses there. Who knows? You might spark a whole new industry. There's always opportunities everywhere if you're looking for them. And the other thing that you can do is, the only international aggregate that I know of is Contest Chest. However, he has more for certain countries than others. So if anybody out there is finding them for countries other than the majors, message him. Maybe he's looking for someone to add giveaways from countries that are more obscure. That would be fantastic. Oh, I'm on a dry spell. Yeah, I'm on a bit of a dry spell too, but you have to win to enter. You have to enter to win. I've been entering. I don't ever not enter something every day, but it's really been down because I've been revamping my website, writing books, lots of stuff, and planning. Oh, if anybody's going to be in North Carolina in March, I'm going to the Tar Heel celebration in, I think it's Mooresville, North Carolina on March 11th. And I will be there. I'm very excited. And I'm bringing George, who just shakes his head at me and this hobby, and then he likes the prizes. He was very happy when we were in Mexico. And if you've watched my TikToks, you will know that I won a big screen TV that was so big it didn't fit in the house. Like, it was 100 inches, and we have a small house, and it would have been the entire wall of the living room. And it wouldn't have been good to watch because the angle, just wouldn't have worked. So we put it in the garage because the garage is massive. And he's the envy of all his friends. And now he has cable out there so he can now watch hockey. And I did this video, and I stand on a ladder because they put it way up. I stand on a ladder to show the prize. It's crazy big. I love it. Oh, this is a good question. How many entries do you send per month? Now, if I'm on my normal entry habit, I'll spend an hour to 2 hours a day entering, and a couple of hundred a day. Mondays tend to be more than other days because I do all my weeklies on Mondays. I like Mondays for my weeklies. Other people prefer other days, but I like to do it on Monday. It keeps it consistent. So pick a day and stay consistent, because that way you don't forget. So I used to do them on Sundays, but I found some of the radio stations wouldn't post their new giveaways till Monday. So now I do it Mondays. That's my preference now. It used to be Sunday. That's the beauty of the hobby. You can just shift as required. And so I don't actually know how many per month because there's single entry giveaways, and then there's dailies, and then there's weeklies. So if you spend about an hour a day, and remember concentric circles, locals, and then provincial or state, and then national, and then global, right? So your odds of winning a local sweepstakes are much better than a national one, right? Not to say you shouldn't enter the national ones, because the big TV, the big laser 100-inch TV was a national giveaway with thousands of entries. But you just don't know when you're going to win. So you can't win if you don't enter. That said, I always like to enter my locals first because my odds of winning are better. And I do very well in those. I actually think I win more locals than other ones. Ooh, Judy won 2 prizes, a Walmart gift card and a pair of tickets to see Madonna at Fenway Park. Oh my gosh, I've seen those tickets on some of the sites selling for thousands of dollars. That is going to be priceless. I saw her in concert. I think I was maybe 20. Oh, that was a while ago. Oh, Beverly said she enters about $2,500 a month. Yeah, so it averages out. You know, if you do about 100 a day, like just roughly, 100 a day for 30 days is 3,000. So yeah, about that. And you target, like Beverly doesn't like to fly. I know Beverly, she comes to our virtual contest club meetings. Our next one, by the way, I haven't sent out the email because it's not going to go out until Wednesday or Thursday. But the meeting's on the 7th, and she likes to travel, but she doesn't like to fly. So she'll find she'll look for specifically anything with gas cards, hotels, things like that. And so you have to be targeting what you really want to win. So she's not going to enter, trips to Europe with jetting over there. Some people really want to focus on gift cards or cash. Some people might want new appliances. Some people might want a new TV. It all depends on what your interests are. So focus on those giveaways first, and then the others are kind of like gravy. Oh, how fun. I've been lucky. I won each of the tiers in the Folgers contest. Cool. That I call is a clean sweep, because you won every possible level in that giveaway. And not everybody can do that. It's kind of rare that you win a clean sweep. I've never done it. I've never done a clean sweep. So on you for doing that. That's very cool. Callie Girl says, did you attend the Silva class? Yes, I was going to talk about that later. Another reason I haven't been entering as much as I would like to this month is I spent 4 days taking the exact same program that Helene Hadsel did with Jose Silva. And wow, it was intense. It was from 9:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night for 4 days straight in Toronto. So I was up extremely early, to bed and then I run my own business. So I'd come home and I'd work for many hours. And then I go to bed and I get up and do it all over again. And there was a lot of meditating. I really understand it. It was really good to do it, because I really understand now why Helene was so good at doing her spec method. And the idea is, and then Joseph Spenza talks about this too. I love him. It's getting into the alpha state. And when you're in alpha, a lot of kids are in alpha. That's why their imaginations, they feel it real. There's actually a name of a book. So it was fantastic. And I'm going to be doing some Silva books coming out later this year, because I found Helene's second publisher. And now this is interesting, because there's a story of there's a farmer, and their family is poor, and they wake up one morning to find their horse has gotten out of the stall and run away. And now what are they going to do to plow the fields? They don't have anything. And the neighbors came over and said, oh, that's terrible luck. Like, that's just the worst luck. The farmer says, we'll see. And then a few days later, the horse comes back, but he brings several wild Mustangs with him that would, be greatly increase the farmer's wealth. And the neighbors were like, you're so lucky. Look what happened. And the farmer was like, we'll see. And so as the son was trying to work with one of the Mustangs, he got kicked and it broke his leg. And the neighbors were like, that's terrible. You got all these Mustangs and the son, he's injured. This is terrible. What a rotten luck. Farmer says, we'll see. And then the next day, the army's coming through because the country's at war, and they're conscripting, well, it's a tongue twister for me tonight, all the young men. And because he had broken his leg, he couldn't go to war. And the neighbors were like, oh, you're so lucky that happened. The farmer's like, we'll see. And so the point of the story is that what we deem good or bad isn't necessarily what is good or bad in the overall picture. And so I had a problem with the books, one of Helene's books on Amazon, and they contacted me. And just to be safe, I was trying to contact all of her previous publishers to get release forms saying they didn't have any copyright on the book. And I found Tag Powell, who owned Top of the Mountain Publishing. He was still alive, and he's in Florida. And he was a Silva instructor, and he knew Helene for many years. He was her friend, and he was with her when they were going around all teaching the Silva method. And he published a second edition of her book. And I ended up speaking with him, and it turns out he's an author in his own right. And I said to him, hey, how about I republish your books too? And he says, wonderful idea. So we're in the process of figuring that out, which is why I'm going to be in North Carolina in March, because I discovered it's exactly halfway to Tag's house. And so I thought, perfect timing. We're going to go down and visit. And so stay tuned, because I told him I'm bringing my camera equipment. We're going to be doing some filming. I'm so excited. This is going to be fun. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be going down there and filming and talking all things Silva. So that's going to be exciting, because he also knew Jose. He was friends with Jose too. And so what I thought was bad, me scrambling to fix this problem on Amazon, has led to a whole new opportunity and a new friend. And it's very exciting. And it's actually part of how I ended up in the Silva class. So it's really fascinating. So just any day you think you're having a bad day, it could be opening a door to some adventure you never expected. Wow. Andres, I'm having a fairly good month. So far, a win each week. Yeah. Hoping to keep up the trend for 2023. Well, I am going to send you weekly winning vibes. Wow, that is fantastic. Andres says, I love radio contests. Yeah, me too. Oh, yeah. Leanne's like, yep, doing radio. Oh, this is interesting. When I know I will win, is it my intuition or is it me creating the outcome because of my enthusiasm? No, I believe that's your intuition. Helene has an entire chapter in her book called From Desire to Knowing. And that's exactly how she knew she was going to win the house. She had a hunch that she should go visit that day. And so she did. She couldn't get any of her friends to go with her, but she wasn't going to go. And then her gut was like, no, you got to go. So she went. And when she was, I guess you could sit on the furniture in those days. If you tour any of the prize houses now, they don't you can't touch anything. Anyway, she was sitting on the couch, and she just knew, all of a sudden, she just knew the house was going to be hers. And so, no, I believe that's your intuition. I've had it a couple of times. There was one time, a while ago, when I was married to Craig, I was sending in entries. I found this contest for Old Dutch Chips to go to the Memorial Cup hockey tournament in Rimouski, Quebec. Yeah, I know, right? Where? Anyway, it was the end of the giveaway, and there was only 2 days left. So I mailed in 2 for me and 2 for him, the last 4 entries. And as I was filling the envelopes, I just thought, oh, we're winning. I just knew we were winning this. And sure enough, his name was picked and we went. It was a lot of fun. Oh, Claude says, today I got a message that I won from Twigs Pretzels. I can't wait to try it. Oh, that sounds like fun. Oh yeah, back to the coupons. Yeah, third place, I won $100 off their products, and the product is expensive. Yeah, no, not a prize. Oh. Kamari says it starts at 8, but I see it's almost over. No, I go for an hour. I've been talking for half an hour. I usually talk for about another half an hour, sometimes more. Especially if I have a guest. Oh my gosh. And then I want to start getting back into doing TikTok lives. And I'm going to have Christy from Sweepstakes back on, because we had so many questions, we couldn't answer them all. So we're going to do like a recap of all the questions. So we're going to have her back on. Jason Block's coming on, and we're going to discuss Pepsi Where's My Jet, which is going to be a lot of fun. Because it's actually been a case in law books, which is a little bit of a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. They actually discussed that in, I think, the 4th episode of that series. So it's good. Oh, Roseanne said a radio station is doing contests like that right now. $100,000. They give away $1,000 a day to one lucky entrant. Being this contest for years, never been called the daily winner, let alone the grand prize winner, and I enter all the time. Well, one, you can't win if you don't enter, but two, also read the rules. I believe that one is a multi-market giveaway, which means they're giving away only $100,000 for the whole country, not just the city you live in. Yeah. So I think it makes it a little harder. Now, I don't know if the $1,000 is by market or is it by multi-market too. How do I get a list of radio station code words before the code word is given? They're listed the whole day on some websites. I'm curious where they find the list. Well, I do know some theories are that they just reuse words over and over and over again. I haven't found that to be the case, but maybe I'm not paying that close of attention. I know that there's some websites, they share the words. Like I said, it's just me and my friend on texting all day in my sophisticated system. But I know Tom and Iwin in his Discord group, they share words. And I believe in Christy said on Sweepsheet, they share the code words in their conversation corner too. So, yeah. And Alexa says, I've not been winning, but I stay positive. Yeah. You know what? Wait, Stephanie says contest just is shut down. When did they shut down? I've just been doing a review of my website. I actually talked to him like a couple of months ago and he did not say anything about shutting down. Okay, now we got to go investigate. I'm live. I can't do it. That is amazing. Maybe I'll message him and see what's going on because I have the craziest little black book ever because I have all the emails, phone numbers, contacts for like everybody in the sweepstakes arena. Yeah, that's interesting. Vicky says wins have been small, but hoping for a big one. You know, sometimes I only win one big one a year. There's been years I've had no biggies. And then there's years that I've had multiple biggies. It just seems to be the nature of the beast. So it's interesting. Tanya says January sold for sweepstakes and instant wins games a lot less than I remember from years before. I feel the same way about this January. However, a lot of people win big in January because all the giveaways, not all, many giveaways during sweepstakes season in December, where it's absolutely insane, close December 31st and aren't drawing till January. So sometimes in January, even though there's not a lot to enter, there's a ton to be won. And a lot of people get winning notifications in January. Kansas is a rough state to live in too. We get skipped for a lot of locals and regionals. I joke with hubby, we need to move to states that have more local sweeps. That's actually true. I believe some states have more winning opportunities like California and Florida. I think I know people in those states and they seem to win more. And I don't know if it's the way companies market, if it's the population. You know, it's tough. Yeah, it's a good strategy. I do the same. Target what I want, skip what's not for me. Totally agree. Yeah, because there's no point in wasting your time or the sponsor's time. Sometimes, though, unfortunately, you're the bridesmaid, not the bride. You'll enter because you want this prize and you win that prize. And you're like, well, that's okay. Oh, nice. Highest win was from the Pepsi Share the Joy, $500 this past year. Card arrived this month. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Callie. That's so fantastic. I see the YouTube teachings, but nothing beats my live class. A live class. I'm going to say my live classes. Well, one of the things I've done, and actually I've rumbled around with this, and I decided I'm going to stick with live for now. So there's a lot of ways small businesses will teach. They'll use like Kajabi or Teachable or one of these platforms, and they'll go and they'll film, step by step how to do, whatever. It could be tiddlywinks, macrame, any DIY, so I could walk people through how to win sweepstakes. The problem is it's technology. It changes rapidly, and the sweepstakes are always changing. And the reason I prefer teaching the live classes is because there's always 100 questions that would never get answered, because people always ask me questions that I would never think to probably include in a video format class. And also I review things, and I do sweepstakes live in the moment. So someone will be in a class and they'll say, I'm having a lot of trouble with XYZ promotion, or I don't understand this, or this rules aren't clear. So we'll literally go during that class and open up that sweepstakes and read the rules and look at it, or try the entry, or show them how to save it on RoboForm, or show them the problem they're having on Instagram, or whatever the issue is, right? I have different classes. And so we walk them through right there and then how to do it. And then if they're stuck, we'll go find something similar and we'll do it again. So I'll go over stuff. So sometimes I'll go over something 2, 3, 4, 5 times until everybody's comfortable with it. Okay, because, I see. When you see something being done over and over and over again. And again, I remind people it's a learning curve. Like, remember, I've been entering using RoboForm for 20 years. So it's really quick for me. But if you're just figuring it out, go slow, and then you'll eventually get it. It's just like training wheels on a bike. You didn't just pick up a bicycle and start, going to the Tour de France. You started on a tricycle, and then you had training wheels, and then you got your balance, and then you got bigger and bigger bikes, or faster. Like you walk before you can run. You crawl, walk, run. So it's the same thing. So I tell people, don't beat yourself up. And if you're just starting, maybe only use it for 10 sweepstakes, and then add in 10 more the next week, and eventually make it part of your whole system. Don't get upset if you're not super quick with it. It's just like anything you're mastering. Oh, how's it going with prizes everywhere? Not bad. I'm reviewing everything right now. I'm writing like 3 things at once. So I'm working on the project to get all of Tag's books. I'm actually doing my year-end accounting. Welcome to owning a small business. And I'm actually outlining, and it's funny because I spoke to Tag about this. Someone gave me the idea. They said, do a workbook companion to how the name it and claim it game. Because a lot of people get confused with some of Helene's concepts. So I thought, I'll do this book where it's a little bit of a guide and a little bit of like a journal, and with activities and things in it. And so I had to do some editing on the other book because I'm getting more printed copies, because I found a typo or 2 and I didn't want to reprint them with the typo or 2. And so I was splicing off the parts that I want to do for that book. Turns out Tag tells me Helene had an idea that she was going to do a workbook companion, but never did it. So now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to go through digging what was left of her files that I had and see if she had any notes on that. That'd be cool. And I was thinking of putting some of the stuff that I found from her files, if they apply to that book. So it's kind of cool. So I'm going to do a workbook companion. And so this year I plan to publish Prizes Everywhere, the book, the companion workbook. I'm going to call it the Winning Workbook, Maneuvers for Wishcraft Workbook, Your Path to Prizes. A companion journal to the Name It and Claim It game. I thought that was good. Yeah, kind of cool. And because now I'm doing so many books, I don't have anywhere to put them. So I booked another URL, Words for Winning. And I know Winning Words was already taken, darn it. Anyway, Words for Winning. And then all the books are going to go over there. I'll have obviously my contest books on my site, and But my marketing site isn't really where Helene's books should be stored. They should be stored on a book site. So I'm also working on a third website this year. Yeah, just because, I don't have enough on my plate. And I do want to talk to Daniel because he's come back to sweeping after a 10-year hiatus. And I would love to show people, I want to get his story, and we're going to put it in the book to show people that this hobby's been around for like well over a century. And that even if you take a break, you can pick up where you left off, so to speak. Oh, I did that with my son at a local mall. We were doing a spin to win and told him to go for a chance to win up to $100. And well, what happened? He won because I had that feeling. Yeah. Oh, I remember when my daughter was little, we were at a gas station. They had a big thing. And so I went to the gas station. I think it was like a grand opening or something. And they had a spinning, and because they had a Tim Hortons, like the coffee shop in the gas station, and, all these prizes. You go in and she could spin and you could get a free spin. So she spun the wheel, it got a free spin. She spun the wheel, it got a free spin. She was doing it. It was just fun for her. I think she was just attracting the free spin. Finally, the lady just hands her, because there's a line now for me. Finally, the lady just handed her a Tim Hortons mug and said, yeah, great. See ya. Like, you won. Like, just get out of here because I got other people. I think it must have been like 5 times in a row or something. It was pretty funny. I think she just likes spinning. Oh, I watched that movie. The Prize Winner Defiance Ohio is great. I highly recommend it to anybody. The book is a bit different than the movie. And before they passed, I did get a chance to be an honorary Daisy. And I talked to the ladies, and they said what they did in the book and more so in the movie was they combined stories because it just made for better continuity. So some things happened in pieces, and then they put them together to make a cohesive story. Everything happened and everything was true, but it was not necessarily exactly like that. Or this might have happened over here and this might have happened over here, and they put it together. So it made more sense. When you're watching a 2-hour movie, they can't do all that. So they told me, yeah, it's not exactly true in that sense, but everything that happened did happen, maybe not in that order or together. But what a life. So yeah, that's interesting. And then the other movie to watch is, why is my mind going blank? There's another movie I recommend to people. Oh, well, it'll come to me probably after I go off the air. Yeah, I Win Contest has the code words on Discord. Yeah, I thought I did say that if I missed it, I apologize. Oh, if a contest that offers mail-in entries and the limit is 1 per day, can you mail them in all on the same day, individual, or do you have to mail them each day? No, you have to mail them each day, and I'll tell you why. Because this postmark will be each day. So you'll need to post them each day. So the postmarks each day. Oh, yeah, I only enter 10 to 20 sweeps. I only enter what interests me. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? So your wins may be further and fewer between, but what you win can be absolutely amazing for you. Oh, that sounds like the HDTV contest I enter every year since before everyone had the internet and computers. I'm still trying to win the dream house. Yeah, that would be fun. But it only takes one to win. Now, the last I heard, they had 165 million entries. It's probably up from that. But believe it or not, that is still better odds than the lottery. So you can't win if you don't enter. Why not? Right? And Leanne says, yeah, I haven't found that either with the repeated words. Oh, which website? I think she's talking about the one that possibly closed. Contest Chest. I'll have to talk to Everett and find out what happened. That's the problem with some of these contest websites that people don't realize is it's not free for us to run the website. That's why a lot of them are freemium or just paid, like Sweepsheet, because we pay for web hosting and the mail server and then web design and then your time to maintain it and manage it and all this stuff. And so that's why, for example, Sweepstakes Advantage, half of their services, you can get this free, that free. So they have a free. And then if you pay for their Sweepstakes Plus, you get this and this and this and this too. Or some sites like Sweepstakes Today and Sweepstakes Fanatics are have a lot of ads on them, because that ad revenue pays for those services like the hosting and the mail server, etc. I just had to re-register some domain names. I mean, even having the domain name costs money. It's interesting because a lot of people think, oh, the internet's free. Well, it's not for the people doing the URLs and that. So that's why a lot of the sites are either subscribe or freemium, as they call it, which, by the way, was a term coined by King Gillette, who over 100 years ago was giving away the handles to his fantastic new razors, and everyone thought he was crazy. Why was he giving away the razor, like the handles? Because that was costing him a fortune. But he knew the money was in the blades, because people would use the blades and they were consumable, because they'd get dull and you'd have to buy new blades for his handles. And so he was basically Dollar Shave Club before Dollar Shave Club. Oh, this is a good idea. What do if I've had a stream of bad things to turn it around and reestablish good luck and good things to fill my life and last? Yeah, I went through that. So I went through what some people call a dark night of the soul. After my divorce, like everything happened. Like, if you've been following me for a long time, I've been doing this since 2000. I'm coming up on I've passed my 20th anniversary of entering Sweepstakes, but I'm coming up on my 20th anniversary of teaching Sweepstakes, which will be official. I started writing my book in 2004, but I actually established contestqueen.com, the website, in 2005. So it's been almost 20 years. I'm at 18. And when I was going through my divorce, so I'm getting divorced. No, I lost my family. I mean, I have my daughter, but you know what I mean? Like, you lose the extended family, the family that I had. I chose to give up the house because I didn't want the memories. So, in a way, I lost the house, and I nearly lost my business. I had a very bad year in business. I was scared I was going to have to close Contest Queen at one point. And so I sure wasn't winning a heck of a lot, because I was not happy. And there was a 10-year gap in between winning trips. I won, it was a long while between trip wins. So sometimes it's tough to go through those spells, and you don't think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it might take longer than you like. But you have to focus on what is good and be grateful and gratitude. If you do some Google searches on YouTube, a lot of great teachers out there that have, talks or meditations that help you shift your energy, because that's the key, is to shift your energy. Like I said, I like Dr. Joe Dispenza. There's some great podcasts. Inspire Nation has a myriad of amazing videos. He has his own. Michael Sandler does his own talks, but then he has these fantastic guests on. Aubrey Marcus, the same thing. Or two of the people that I think of. And if you Google, uplift my mood or change my vibration, you're just going to get a lot of really good stuff. And you can tell there, unfortunately with the internet, there's probably some kooks out there, and some people that you're like, I don't like their vibe. Just switch. It's easy to do that. You know, one of my favorite people actually, now he took a lot of stuff off YouTube. But I did find them on his Facebook channel. Go to Michael Loge on Facebook and look at his videos, and his old videos, like the really old ones, where he was doing how to change your vibe, and how asking for some things, like how the law of attraction is like ordering pizza and stuff like that. He had some great videos that he took off YouTube, but I found them on Facebook. So go find them there. Oh, this is exciting. Fonda, she says, I'm new to all this. Got your book on Amazon. Really going blind to this and how to get started. Okay, so I have on my website 5 steps to begin winning. And I'll go through them. So the first thing I recommend you do, and actually this is good for everybody, get an email address just for entering sweepstakes. You know what? I think I've been shrinking as we've been sitting here. I'm getting slouchy because I'm like, why is my head so low? Yeah, I get tired. Set up an email address just for entering sweepstakes, because that's going to save you a ton of grief. And I'm going to tell you right now, the reason I'm such a good teacher is I've made every mistake under the sun, and you're not going to do what I did, because I started with my work email. Yeah, no. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to find a sweepstakes aggregate that you like. Now, right now, they're on my site. You have to click on this is another reason I'm changing my site. We're going to bring this list forward. We're going to make it a master list, and we're going to have it off one click off the homepage. Because right now, you have to click on resources, and then you have to pick your country under find sweepstakes, and then click on resources according to your country. And we're going to change the whole page. We're going to make it a master list. We're going to have it all much better organized, and it's going to be off of find. So I'm very excited. I just sent the new map to my webmaster. So anyway, find a sweepstakes aggregate that you like, and poke around, because there's different formats. Like there's a couple that are like forums. There's some that are like lists. There's some that are are formatted like blogs. There's some that are just subscription only, like Sweepsheet. I still think they should use that slogan, not your grandma's newsletter, because they're 33 years. This is their 33rd year in business. And, it used to be just paper and mailed out to you every 2 weeks. Like, yeah, definitely, it's not your grandma's newsletter. And then things like Tom Cavalli's I Win. And then there's Sweeping America. They really focus on mail-ins. If you still like mail-ins, just go poke around and see the format you like. There's different ways they sort them and their looks. Some you can subscribe to for free and use some of the other features. There's Contest Girl. Like I said, there's Sweepstakes Today. There's probably some that I'm forgetting about that are probably pretty good. Check them all out. I think it's Win Online Contests. Yo Winner. I haven't checked Yo Winner in a while. I don't know if they're still really popular. Oh no, thanks for checking, Laura. I'm definitely going to message Everett after this. He lives in, the Discord group is part of I Win Contest, but you have to be a subscriber to get part of it. That's one of the features of being a member. And again, anyway, I'll message him. He lives in Eastern Europe, so it's the middle of the night for him. So I'll message him. Maybe tomorrow he'll message me. This is an interesting question. Heidi says, would the quality of your entry be better or more effective if you entered less but thought about those more? Oh, I know what she's talking about. She's talking about giving it energy. So Helene always said, give it energy. Give every entry energy. Actually, here, let me just quote it right here. Let me get my book out. So I just read it too. she had it in the last part of her book. So she was giving advice. So it was in a chapter called, let me see. I think it's in the chapter, the questions most often asked by students. And it's actually the last part in that book, just before part 3. And it says, when to project and give energy. When you do the writing and addressing of the envelopes for a certain contest. Okay, so this is the same as if you're filling out an online form or dialing into a radio station or filling an entry blank at a store, which is rare, but you never know. Paint a mental picture of the prize you want to win. So whatever prize you're entering for, just envision it. And when you mail the envelope, give it energy that it will be the winner. So when you're clicking send, it's the same principle. Everything's energy. And hello, the internet is literally energy. Whenever it comes to mind, and it will again, see yourself as already having and enjoying the prize. Look for exciting things to happen because they will. So that's what she's saying. So I would enter. So if it's a daily, don't not enter every day. If you have the time and you can enter every day and you want the prize, enter every day. And just, follow Helene's advice. Yeah, an honorary affidavit. So fun. You should write your own biography. You've met some very interesting people. Maybe one day. Yes, I have. Not as interesting as some. Like, it's funny. We all have our own myopic lens, because I look through my eyes and I see my life, and I look at Helene's and I think, in this book, in Confessions of an 83-Year-Old Sage, she has a part where here. So this is her Dr. Joseph Murphy story. So she gets a phone call from Dr. Joseph Murphy, who wrote a very famous book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. So she gets a phone call. It says, I'm Joseph Murphy. I've been invited to Dallas to give a lecture series. Norman Vincent Peale, hello, the author of The Power of Positive Thinking, which started her on her path, suggested I look her up. When is it convenient for us to meet? Okay, so who are you? How is your life shaped in such a way that Norman Vincent Peale tells Dr. Joseph Murphy to call you? Wow. So I look at that, and then, I don't think much of, going to be an Daisy, because to me that was normal, but I guess that was normal for her. But I love it going to the sweepstakes conventions. If you can go to any of the conventions or meetings or gatherings or parties or whatever they're having, there's 3 this year. There's one in North Carolina. There's one in Tennessee, in Nashville. Memphis, sorry. And one in Arizona, in Scottsdale. So I'm going to 2 of the 3, because the last one's in October and it doesn't work with my schedule this year. Is a contest, if the contest says send in info on a 3x5 card, can you put it in an envelope? Actually, you have to put it in an envelope, because a 3x5 is too small by postal standards to mail. Yeah, Bill says if there's free sweepstakes aggregates, they have ads running on their pages. Yeah, and some of them, usually the freemium ones, don't so much, because they're getting the money from the other ones. Have you ever interviewed Sweetie Sweeps? I have not. I should message Wendy and see if she'll talk to me. I haven't talked to her in forever. It would be fun to see. Oh, Dan says, fun to see me on the other side of the screen. Yes, we all win in life. Well, that's actually what Helene said, right? So on the back of the winner, how to be a winner in contests and in life. Because really the principles, she has people say to her, well, can I use spec to get a job, or to find romance, or to get a house, or win a trip, or whatever? And she's like, yeah, because the principles are exactly the same. Oh yeah, we're over 9:00. Oh well, I'm just gonna keep answering questions and then we'll finish. I might have to start doing this more a month, but we'll see. Oh, this is a good tip because I was even thinking about this today. I get so many emails in my promotion bin in Gmail, it's impossible to check for wins there. Will a winning notification show up in your primary folder and sometimes spam bin? Yes. Okay. So generally, a winning notification will show up in your primary folder, occasionally in spam. But what I do is I do searches. I'm actually going to do a list in my book of keywords that you should search for. So go and search once a week or twice a week for winner, affidavit, release, congratulations, a few filters, and it's easier to catch them. But winning notifications generally do land in your primary. So, oh, Beverly says, does anybody know where to buy the 24 number envelopes? There's 24. I only know of the 10. Oh, Bill and Beverly, if you come to one of my contest club meetings, Bill and Beverly, they're always teasing each other. He says, put 3 number 10s together and cut off number 6, and then you'll get 24. Silly man. Wow. Tanya says, I'm an entering sweepstakes since 1989, and that was by mail. The internet opened so many more contests through the years. I've learned something new every year. By the way, I'm 46, so that's why I'm explaining my snail mail sweepstakes. Wow. So you started earlier than me because I'm 10 years older, and I started 3 years later. Don't some of the free sites give you a link with their personal referral link to give them more entries? Not so much anymore. Because if you, for example, Sweepstakes Fanatics is a free site, but Todd doesn't enter. He's a computer programmer that just loved doing it, and he does it as a side hustle because he makes money off the ads, which pays for the site, and he makes some extra money on top of that. And then occasionally companies will contact him to feature, a promotion on his site, and he gets paid for that. It's a business. But it used to be more the bloggers who would do it, that would promote and do what they call a dirty link, and do entries like that. If I share on social and you see the word referral, then I'm doing that. It's clearly, it's a referral link, and I say referral. Otherwise, no, you don't see that. I don't share those. It's Loge. Actually, if you go to my blog, go to my website and click on blog and scroll back a bit. I had somebody ask me that question, and I think it's under the why. I think the blog post is why you didn't win the Powerball lottery. And I have his video, along with a few podcasts to Robert Ohado, who, if you follow me for any amount of time, you know that I love him. He was helped me get out of my dark night. His teachings are fantastic. Super biased here. Loved his books. He used to have a radio show, which is what I linked to, some of the old ones. He's going to be coming out with a new podcast. He's got some videos on YouTube, but more on Facebook. Fantastic. And then in 2014, he hired me, and then it was off and on. And then I've been working with him solid from 2020. So I'm really biased. He changed my life in countless ways. Oh, thanks. Win Prizes Online is one of my free favorite sweepstakes aggregates. Yeah, and I interviewed them for my book too. No, member doesn't mean you have to pay. Like, for example, Sweepstakes today, I think you can subscribe to the site and you don't have to pay, if I'm correct. And I think Yo Winner's the same because I know I'm a member on there. I think it depends on the site. Yeah, so I've entered contests where you mail the 3x5 without envelopes. Have I been wasting my postage? Possibly, because it's too small, so I don't know. The postal machines can't handle those, so I don't know what's been happening to those mail-ins. I mean, they may make it through, but if you go to the postal website and select, hang on, I have it in here. Resource, 5 ways to enter mail-in. Okay, the last stats that I have, and I thought I checked for this book and they were exactly the same. So my new book, a standard postcard is 4 1/4 inches by 6. If a sweepstakes asks for a 3x5 postcard, you can cut a regular unstamped postcard down and place it in an envelope. A 3x5 postcard is too small to mail according to the USPS mailing guidelines. The minimum is 3.5 by 5, and often companies request a 3x5 in error, or you misuse the term postcard when they mean index card. So, Bill said yes. So it is the same. Yeah, they haven't changed. It's still 3.5. So I don't know what's been happening to your 3x5s. Okay, so we have the last one here. I've gone way over. I started entering mini sweepstakes in the 80s. Oh, wow. When it got me hooked in the old contest newsletter, that went to Sweep Sheet. Oh, yeah. What was the contest newsletter called? I don't remember. And I love winning many wins, and a lot of small ones, but each has been a blessing. I know, what a crazy fun hobby, right? And you win the weirdest stuff sometimes. Like I have like a little gnome that I won from Travelocity that I love. But everything, like, look, I've been charging my Fitbit. It won my Fitbit. Lots of weird and wonderful prizes. I love this hobby. It's a great hobby. But you know what? The one thing that I'll say is the adventures that I've had with the people that I've met far outweighs any win that I've ever had. I had so much fun at the last Sweepstakes convention because it was a 7-year gap between events, between the lockdowns and travel. Like, I moved one summer, and then another summer I had already been on 2 trips. I didn't have any money or time to go on another one. And then we had several years of lockdowns. Like the border was even closed. I couldn't even leave. Finally, I said, that's it. And I got a ticket for last year. And so and I've already bought my ticket and reserved my room. I'm just waiting till after I get back from Florida, and we're going to book the plane tickets. So excited. So lots of fun stuff to do. That was the name, Contest Newsletter. It's literally the name. It's called Contest Newsletter. That is so funny. It's like, who's on first? Wasn't there an aggregate called Winning Ways? You know what? I got this feeling there was. Now, there used to be a book called Winning Ways, and it was the woman that wrote the foreword, Melanie Rocket, who wrote the foreword to my first book. There was a book called Winning Ways. I don't know what year Winning Ways was published. I don't think. Do I have it in here? She has, I think, a free PDF. I should look it up and maybe reshare it. I think it's still online. I'll look it up and maybe I'll reshare it. Maybe I should do that. Like, I don't know. What should we call it? There's no days of the week that start with B's, so it's not like Book Monday. Contest Guru's Guide to Winning Sweepstakes. I should do that. I should start sharing free, a book tour. I used to do book reviews. I have boxes of books from Sweepstakes books. I have a copy of Winning Ways. Yeah, Bill says the last sweepstakes convention was awesome. Yes, Lawrence confirms. Always mail a 3x5 in an envelope. At least it will arrive. Oh, or there was one something called editor sweepstakes profiles. I know that there's one called in Sweep Sheet, they do a sweeper profiling. Yeah, Winning Ways used to be one. Can you recommend another book similar to the grand prize winner of Defiance, Ohio? Yeah, I can't think of one. Like Helene's story, she's got all kinds of crazy things going on. That one's just a nice story. I don't know. I can't think of one. Maybe someone will put one in the comments. But Helene was a sweeper. There was Evelyn. They're the big ones. Oh, Denny Hamilton and Leslie Whiteley were the editors of Sweepstakes profiles. Wow. Oh, some like Shauna says, I just got a copy of the Name It and Claim It game, and now you're live. Very magical day. Oh, well, get on my newsletter list and actually go sign up for the one. Maybe you want to come to the club meeting. We're going to have it on the 7th. Maybe you should come to a contest club meeting. Oh my God, it's going to be so fun. We're going to have a bunch of newbies. Yeah, what was the name? There was another movie, something, I'll remember. So, yeah. And I did some interviews. Now, see, this is the problem with the technology, is that the technology wasn't where I needed it to be when I was there. So I had this old, I don't even think I have it anymore. It was like a Zuma, but it wasn't. It's kind of like an iPod before iPod. And it was kind of like a stick. It was thin. I don't know. It was probably about as big as it was about this big and about that thick. And it was like an MP3 player, and I could record on it. So there was a couple times I traveled, and I would put it there, and then everyone would talk, and I would literally just tape it. It was the equivalent of putting a tape recorder. You know how the old journalists would go with a tape recorder? And I would record. So I have an interview with the Affadaisies. There was no live streaming. There was no video. There was no nothing. Oh my God, that would have been amazing. And then I interviewed the fella that was the president of the London competition, the Compers Club in the UK when I went. Oh my God, he was amazing. I needed to get me to the UK, hang out with Super Lucky Die. And then, so I didn't have any film or anything. It's not like it is now. I have people complain and I was a terrible interviewer, but on my YouTube with Helene, and it was recording, and they're like, the audio's off and you guys should be adjusting, and why isn't your producer doing something? And I'm like, no, this was recorded in 2008 on Blog Talk Radio, where we each phoned in on landlines. What is happening with the lighting? Why is it going in and out? We both phoned in on landlines. There was no controlling anything. It was, that's it. And, okay. So one last question, and then I'm going to go because it's way over. Sean says, can you tell us about one of your manifested wins contests that got you believing, wow, this really works? I can't think of one from a long time ago because I've been doing this forever. But the one that I had this last year was, we had a snowstorm last January, and things are finally starting to open up. And George our driveway is so long. It took him and a buddy with a snowplow, like a snowblower, 5 hours to clear it. And I went out for an hour, and I'm like, I got to work. I hate the cold. And he came in and he just gave me his credit card and he goes, book us a trip. I'm done. I need to go somewhere south. I don't care what the restrictions are. We're out of here. I'm like, okay. So he found us a deal. We went to the Dominican and I booked it. It was like 10 days from then. It was like, boom, just go. So we're on this vacation. And previous to this, when I turned 50, my sister took me to Cuba on an all-inclusive, just the two of us, the sisters traveling. Oh, it was so nice. It was the most time I'd spent with her in forever. And I loved it. So I thought, okay, when she turns 50, I'll take her on vacation. And then that year, I had won a trip and then we went to a wedding and then she was getting married. And so there was no time or money for me to take her away. And actually, I had so many expenses that year that I didn't even buy them a wedding gift. I was feeling a bit guilty. And then they didn't go on a honeymoon because they thought, oh, we'll go in the spring. And then everything locked down. So they never got a honeymoon. So, and I think part of it is I was in the vibration of the tropics. So I said to George, look, I really want to take Laura and Jeff, my sister, and my brother-in-law away on vacation because I never took her away for her birthday. I never bought them a wedding present. They didn't get a honeymoon. I want to take them on vacation. That was my goal. And in my head, even though I know Helene's spec method, I'm thinking, okay, I got to finish my next book, my next project. I got to pay off some bills, pay down those credit cards, do all this stuff, and then save up for the trip, and then we'll go. That's what I'm thinking. No, why don't you just focus on the end result? The how is the domain of the universe. I know this, and I still don't listen to it sometimes. So we get home and we're home for 4 days. And I get a message from an agency that I work with frequently. And they said, hey, we have a giveaway. Can you just share it a couple times? Because, there's no budget for sharing. In other words, I'm not being paid so I can enter it. But it keeps me in their good graces. So I shared it. And I read the rules, and it was the only Super Bowl contest open to Canadians. And it was Booking.com was giving away 100 trips. I'm like, I'm so on this one. And so the Super Bowl came, and I basically entered for 4.5 hours solid. Because what you had to do is you had to take a picture during the commercials, and then you had to post it on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, tagging them with saying something and a hashtag. And I was like, all over it. And 2 days later, I won a trip. And I thought, I know this. Like I said, I want this trip, and I got a trip. Within a week, I had a trip for it was enough money for 4 people to go away to Mexico. And then we went last October. If you watched all my videos, I did several videos there showing different things. And I was taking an Instagram, like I'm taking an Instagram class, and they're teaching us reels and things. I mean, I know how to do that stuff, but there's other marketing aspects. And so I was trying some of the trending sounds, so I was playing around with videos while I was there and having a good time because I could do some things. So there's one that says, this is my coffee and this is my view, I'm like, okay, I gotta, this view is like crazy amazing. And the whole time I'm like, this is crap. I know this stuff. So stop worrying about the how. What is your end result? Right? What is your end result? My goal is to help people. I'll give you another instance. So I'm in the Silva Methods class, and the teacher, Stephen, it's spelled Dobos, but I think it's Hungarian and it's pronounced slightly different. He is teaching, and he says one of his goals is to reach, I think he said 1 billion people. That's his goal, is to help elevate a billion people on this planet. That's a big, hairy, audacious goal, as they call it. And here I come along and I go, hey, I'm getting these books from Tag. Would you write the foreword? Now, how many people can we reach with these books? That's a huge, we don't know how things are going to come together, where they're going to go. So just put your goals out there and trust they're going to show up, and don't worry. Like even in her book, Helene with the Name It and Claim It game, she wanted to go to Paris for her 40th birthday. She didn't win a trip to Paris. She won this and she won this and she had this and she had that, and she piecemealed it all together. But on her 40th birthday, she was sitting at an outdoor cafe in Paris having a glass of wine. So did she care how it all came together? No, she was exactly where she wanted to be on her 40th birthday. So don't worry if the road looks like this instead of this, because guess what? You still end up in the same spot, right? Okay. Oh my gosh. I haven't been, I usually go on Mondays to the group and I haven't been there yet. That's amazing. I already shared in your Good Vibes group. Oh yes, actually, I think I saw this. I'm super excited. Won a Super Bowl trip from Subway heading to Arizona next Wednesday. Well, you have the time of your life because Super Bowl is one of the trips that I would love to win. And that is going to be fantastic. And yeah, so just go and find all the Super Bowl giveaways because there's tons of them. Just to either go to the Super Bowl or during the Super Bowl, there's going to be tons and tons of giveaways. So free your evening and get ready to enter. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. And I do this once a month. I have a Sweepstakes Q&A. So if you have any questions, send them in. Sometimes I will blog them in advance because, you know, it is once a month. It's quite a time. And I answer questions on TikTok and on Instagram and YouTube stories, YouTube shorts and story. Yeah, there's so much social to take care of. But yeah, I share it all out there. So if you have a question, don't wait for a month to go by, send it in. And hopefully I will see you either in one of our club meetings or back online when I have with the contest queen. My next guest is Jason Block. And like I said, we're going to be talking about Pepsi, Where's My Jet? And I'll be talking to Roboform later. And we're going to be doing another one with Christy. Yeah, lots of guests coming up. It's going to be a fun winning month. And I'll talk to you later. And congratulations to all the winners out there.